This takes us to Living Season 1. I hope you're all still hanging in there. Here we go. We're going to blast through Living Season 1. There was a ton covered in this season. A lot of it had to just be cut, though. There are great summaries out there. But to start, I'm going to touch on a place called South Sun Cove. This is more of a prelude story, which featured a corrupt island resort, murderous crab monsters known as the Karka, and introduced two major characters. Sorry, Inspector Kiel. Kanak, a repentant hireling turned freedom fighter that rebelled against his employer to do what was right, and Casimir Mead, one part of the investigatory duo that make up Delacqua Investigations, with the other half being her business and romantic partner, Marjorie Delacqua. I would love to share the South Sun details with everyone, and in fact, one of our Pool of Memories missions dives into Kanak's story during it, but to be honest, we do not have the time. So the real focus of this season was a little thing known as Scarlet's War. Unnatural storms accompanied a series of mysterious assaults in the Shiver Peaks, causing Norn and Char refugees to flock to their capital cities. While a war council was held in the Black Citadel, a young Norn made his way there to beg for aid in retaking his homestead from the forces responsible for the recent attacks. The youth claimed he was the son of legendary Air Stegalkin. Ritlock Brimstone, a former companion of Air's from Destiny's Edge, called him a dirty liar and sent him to Holbrick, who denied him in the interests of self-preservation, leaving him with no choice but to retake his home himself. We can't confirm nor deny that this may have been the root of this character's deep-seated insecurities and lack of self-confidence, but either way, this is the entrance of the truly beloved character known as Bram Airson. Meanwhile, a beautiful pure char named Rox was sent to reclaim a Devourer hatchery as a test to join Ritlock Brimstone's warband, which she accomplished. Rox had lost her own warband prior to the mission, but an albino baby Devourer named Frostbite took a liking to her at the hatchery and refused to leave her side, giving her a companion she would never lose. Later that year, amidst the merriment of the Queen's Jubilee, a red Sylvari appeared. Revealing that she had been the mastermind of Tyria's recent troubles, this Scarlet Briar hijacked a force of clockwork guardians known as the Watch Knights. As time passed, more information about Scarlet and her history began to surface. Scarlet had once been a curious Sylvari named Ciara. Her ravenous desire for knowledge would eventually lead her to set up a device to peer into the inner mechanisms of the world. Inside the machine, she saw the universe stretched out before her. She pushed further and was confronted by a presence that overwhelmed her. Upon waking, she took the name Scarlet Briar and was plagued by the voice of that presence until any remnant of her sanity was gone. Scarlet's story was tragic, but that didn't lessen the monstrosity of her attacks on Tyria, of which there were many. In one memorable invasion, she summoned an enormous weapon in the Shiver Peaks in the form of a marionette that was ultimately defeated by the commander and their companions. They were joined in this fight by a young Asuran prodigy that admired Scarlet's genius named Taimi. Scarlet's greatest battle was waged in Lion's Arch, and was one that would change the landscape of the city forever. Scarlet won the city by flooding it with toxins, and in the fight to reclaim it, Bram was injured, and Marjorie struck down by their foe, leaving her love, Casimir, to believe she had perished. Though Rox had been tasked to personally take down Scarlet as the final test for admission into Ritlock's warband, she chose to tend to the wounded Bram and Marjorie, allowing Casimir to face her instead. Filled with fury, Casimir was successful in distracting Scarlet Briar long enough for the commander to deliver the killing blow, thus ending Scarlet's war. In the aftermath, a jarring sound echoed throughout Tyria. Taimi and the group surmised that the magical currents known as ley lines were akin to an ocean of magic that Scarlet had thrown a giant rock into, sending ripples out to wake the slumbering dragon. The voice that had plagued Scarlet was that of Mordramoth, whose vicious vines would slowly rouse to ensnare many more Sylvari to come.